Welcome to Which Side Do You Want, where we talk all things tennis. I'm your co-host, Ruffin Thornton, and I'll be joined by my good friend, James Skinner.
Unlike most tennis podcasts, we cover hot topics, from the lawns to the concrete, from the pros to the park, and all things in between. Welcome to Which Side Do You Want?
All right, welcome back, tennis and racket sport fans, to our podcast. We're back in front of you to talk about the Wimbledon Championships. So, James, how are you doing? How excited were you to watch Wimbledon this year?
Oh, man, it was a good tournament.
It was.
It rained a lot.
It rained
a
lot.
Wimbledon, so
Right.
It always rains. We got to expect that. And the grass was a little slippery.
Right.
But that didn't stop the best players in the world from giving us some memorable moments.
Absolutely. And it's a good thing that they have both court one and center court are now covered.
Yes.
So play is not completely stopped.
That saved them.
Yeah,
It saved them because they would have been backed up to the hilt. We've been watching.
We still be watching matches today.
Wednesday,
But that's good, But we all love Wimbledon. People come out. I've always said this before. It seems like here in the States that people tend to come out in the heat of the year in the summertime, right when Wimbledon is at its peak. So that's
awesome.
Before, when we went out to the courts a couple weeks ago, that's when people were starting to come out. School's out.
That's right.
People getting ready to go on vacation. They want to look good right before, so they played some tennis. So remember that, people.
That's
anyway,
right.
So let's just do a quick recap. So what do you want to talk about? The women's finals, the men's finals? You choose.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let you take the ladies, and I'll go with the men's final. So you want to take the ladies?
Sure.
It's
So
on you, man.
let's talk about the Wimbledon's finals.
Man.
The sweetheart, the darling of the tournament, Jasmine Paolini.
Yeah.
Playing against a not so informed former Grand Slam champion, Barbora Krejcikova.
Yeah.
She actually had a losing record this year.
Right.
And
She put it together.
She put it together. Surprising, interesting that she did as well as she did. Because I don't know if you watched the semifinals between her and Rybakina, or Rybakina. I thought after Rybakina won that second set, that first set, I'm sorry, she was going to roll. But Barbora played and the serve came and she handled the pace and all of a sudden, all of the errors started to come out. And she hung in there and got to the finals, which is a big surprise for her. But, outside of her being the champion, like I said, the darling of the tournament was Jasmine Paolini.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
I can't think of anybody thus far during her somewhat meteoric rise. And I say that because we only have known about her within the last few months with her her ability at the French Open, getting to the finals and losing to Iga.
Well, people who don't follow the sport,
are
just learning about her now. But we've been following the sport. We've been following her for
a couple years.
Yeah, for years, man. She came out as a junior. But you're right. That the semifinals was interesting, but then when we get to the finals and you get this matchup and we said, if you check our podcast, our last podcast, opening Wimbledon, we said some things would have to happen.
Right.
We talked about Paolini as being a potential, and we said some things would have to happen in the draw. Some things did happen in the draw. And we lost some big players, and it opened things up.
Right.
And she was able to fill the cracks. She
came
right in there.
She came in there and
did
filled
what
it.
she does
She did
best.
what she does do. She fought. The biggest thing I've seen in her camp has been her belief in herself.
Yeah.
And she talks about that openly.
Yeah.
That, she never thought that she'd be in this position, even as a pro. Not only to be in the finals of not one, but two back-to-back Grand Slams.
Right. That's right.
But to have a crack at really the most prestigious of the two.
Man. It would have been amazing for her to have won that title.
It sure would have been.
She came so close.
So close.
Right. A service break in that third,
And that's all it takes.
That's all it
and
takes.
especially when you consider, she lost the set. Barbora served well in the first set.
Yeah.
And you could see the nerves in Jasmine.
Right.
She flipped the switch, and now Barbora was kind of nervous in the second set. That's why the scores kind of flipped. Jasmine got a little more energy, got a little more forceful in her ground strokes, started controlling the court, using her athleticism. And then the tight third set, Barbora still dealing with the nerves. You could see it in her serve. You could see in the fact that Jasmine was playing her backhand and getting all those unforced errors, which you didn't see too much in the first set, but you saw it in the second set.
Yeah.
But she righted the ship, got her serve there enough to really fix the problems and held on. Again, we forget that she is a former Grand Slam champion, won the 2021.
She's been there and won it.
Slam.
And I think that was the little mental edge that gave her that opening that she needed, that she sustained when she got that break. I think she just held it together.
Yeah.
And having been there before, having won before, I think that was the difference between the two on that court.
And that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. At
That's
that level, you're right.
That it's only a little difference.
Yeah.
Who breaks first, you know? But we got to tip our hats to, as I always say, Barbora, with the 6-2, 2-6, 6-4 win over Jasmine Paolini. Jasmine, I put on her Instagram site, we're rooting for you. Keep smiling. Big things are coming your way as long as you continue to play. And hopefully those things will come very, very soon.
I think she's gonna get a few more titles. Grand Slams, hey, once again, some things have to happen.
Right.
But definitely she has made herself, she's in the top 10 and
top 5.
Top 5, that's right, excuse me. And deservedly so.
Yeah.
And so all that goes with that, we wish her all the best and continue, man. We just, love watching her play. She's a joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's a joy to watch.
And it seems like there's no one that dislikes her, and everyone has pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
We love her outlook, her smile, her personality, always upbeat, bubbly. And that's what we like, and that's why we root for her.
Definitely. And her diminutive size also.
Absolutely.
Because she's playing against these women who are like 5'9", 5'10", 6 feet, 6'1", and there she is, 5'3".
I know.
Fighting, holding her own.
Holding it down.
Yeah. So that was, but that was a great, good final, great seeing the great contrast of styles.
Yep.
And great, just that was an overall good match.
Yeah.
We wanted to see her. It'd been nice to see her pull it out, but you know what? She fought. I call her the little soldier.
The little soldier.
They used to call, remember Corrado Bettazzuti?
Yeah.
They used to call him the little, way back when they used to call him the little soldier. Well, I see her, she's the new little soldier. She's out there fighting, man. Fighting.
Just like Diego.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, cool. I'm glad we got the women out of the way. So I'm gonna turn it back to you. So what you got on the men's final?
Oh man, some people are saying this is the changing of the guard,
But we talked about that.
We did.
We already saw that from last year.
Yes, but of course the men's final champion, the new and repeat Wimbledon champion, Carlos Alcaraz, and this young man, he has. He is only the fourth or fifth person to have completed what they call the channel double.
Right.
That means he won the French Open, and then you come right back and win Wimbledon, which is very difficult.
Very difficult. So only 4 players.
Yeah.
Laver,
Bjorn,
Nadal, and Djokovic.
Yeah. Wow. That's it. 4 players.
It.
That's a good class of player
pretty good company to be in. You're right.
Not bad at all. But it was, and we can look at a lot of things, but I'm just going to come out here and say it.
Right.
Okay. Djokovic did not lose. He got beat.
Yeah, he got beat.
He got beat. And there's a whole lot of things leading into that match. Of course, the injury to his knee and his, coming back from that injury, patella and that surgery. That was a miracle. And I applaud him just for the fact that he was able to come back and still make it to the finals of a Grand Slam tournament. That is nothing to shake your leg at. But but it was just that the first game of that match was telling.
Right.
Because Djokovic was struggling to hold his serve.
Absolutely.
That game was lasted like
I went down the street to have some coffee, came back.
He's still trying to hold serve.
Right.
And to me, that was telling because it set the stage that he was struggling to find that form.
Right.
And part of the reason he was struggling is because Alcaraz was up in it.
Right.
And
he was on.
Yeah, he was on it. And we always see Alcaraz playing with some sort of deficit. Something's not right, but he still finds a way to win, and is struggling and the sets, he drops serve at the wrong time and it goes faster. This time we saw him playing well.
Yeah, and that was a point.
And it's scary.
Yeah, that really is scary.
He played well in this match, and Djokovic just didn't have an answer.
No.
He didn't. And even when they got in the third set, when they got to the tiebreaker, I really had no confidence that Djokovic was going to win. I just didn't. And once again, not a knock on Djokovic.
No.
This is just as a celebration of the talent and skill of Carlos Alcaraz to me. I'm not taking nothing from Djokovic.
No.
Like I said, for him to come back from that surgery and to play as well as he did at 37 years of age, and to get to the finals of Wimbledon, and he beat some players to get there too.
True.
And
he was rested.
And he was rested. And most of those matches went 3-4 sets maybe.
Right.
So it wasn't like he struggled.
No.
But Alcaraz is just that dude.
Well, he certainly was that dude Sunday.
Man, he's at that other level, man.
When you see him change, not only did he have his full arsenal on display, he hit the serve. He hit the returns.
He served well, man. How many times did he serve 130 some miles an hour? Like pop, pop, pop.
And not only, and he started to put that, I always throw Roger in there, but he started to put that kick out wide. And when Novak can't figure out where you're going with the serve, you're doing something.
Yeah, and he's limited now too, because his movement is not the same as it used to be. I mean, we marvel at this man's fitness and his ability to, get that body all stretching and limbered up. But yeah, you're right, man. It was tough for him to move out there, and that was because of Alcaraz.
Yeah,
Alcaraz made it tough.
And you could kind of see it in Novak's demeanor. It was like, okay, I'm not going to win this set.
Yeah.
Let's recalculate and recalibrate for the next set, because he's always thinking, I can go 5. That's easy. But
yeah, exactly. But this time that won't happen.
That didn't seem like it was happening.
And you think how the flip from the last final they played, where Djokovic had to come. He came from behind and boom, and then he's back in the mix. And Alcaraz seems a little flustered. Now it's kind of flipped.
Right.
I mean, even though it wasn't even flipped. Djokovic was from behind from the jump. And he was struggling, but he was flummoxed trying to figure out a way to deal with this kid.
Yeah.
But this kid was like, I respect you, and you're a good guy, but, my job is to beat you.
Right.
And I want to be good at my job.
I want to be good at my job. That's good.
And he was, man. So I hats off to Carlos Alcaraz, Carlito. I remember a few podcasts when he was first emerging, and I felt like everybody was comparing him comparing him to Ruffin Nadal.
Right.
And I thought that was unfair. I just like, man, let's let him become the best Carlos Alcaraz he can, and he has done that.
Yep.
I mean, he's not another Rafa Nadal. He's a totally different type of player, different style. But he is now emerging as an entity within himself.
And
so, man,
what an entity it's going to be.
Yeah,
we're going. We were worried after the Big Four. What would men's tennis be like? We ain't got to worry about that right now.
Djokovic just lost to center in last Grand Slam final, and now he just lost to Alcaraz.
Right.
I mean, the future is for the young.
It's going to be all right.
Yeah. What's your saying? Father time?
Father time is undefeated.
Yeah, and so for Djokovic, man, he stretched this thing out.
Right.
He's gotten his money's worth and then some, and he can look back at one heck of a career. I'm not closing the door on him right now.
No, it would be
let's understand,
premature.
It's still Novak Djokovic.
Right.
He's going to get some rest. He's going to get the best treatment and physio and everything he can, because his team is going to get him together. Right. I'm not sure how many tournaments he'll play, pre-tournaments. He's definitely going back to the Olympics. He wants to play in the Olympics.
Because that's the only thing off his resume.
Right.
He wants that Olympic gold.
Yep.
And best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
64.
That's in his favor.
64 team draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
going to be tough. It's going to be
tough because the players that he's going to face now have been practicing and playing, like Nadal. He's in Germany right now, or wherever he is. He's playing on the red dirt right now.
Yeah.
So, but he's still got favorable chances to do well.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anyway, so like I said, Carlos Alcaraz is opening up, and between Alcaraz and Sinner and a couple other young people, Musetti. And Musetti had a great tournament.
He did.
Let me just understand one thing. This kid, now a lot of people saying, well, he's got the one hand backhand, and how far can he get with that? Well, he did pretty good.
He did.
Okay, he did pretty good. And he ran up against the man, so it was tough for him. Right. And he's been inexperienced at that level, but it let him get a little more taste of it, and see. And he's only, 22? Come on.
Right. He and Sinner are right there. The Italians, and we think about Berrettini too. Yeah. The Italians are going to be fine for a couple years.
They're tough. They're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. So, anyway, we got some young players coming up. This, I think they're going to fill that void, but there's not really a void. They're just transitioning, and they're just there. And so, hats off to them. It was interesting finals. Disappointing in the fact that it was only 3 sets. However, also still intriguing about what we're going to see in the future with these young
with Carlos
players.
And the rest. We just need one more. We got our own big 3. That's going to be exciting going forward.
Be surprised, there's some openings there for some young players to step up, and some have been starting to step up, and we'll see. We'll see. Yeah,
but again, men's tennis, it's fine now. If anything, torch has been passed. They're ready to run with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Speaking of the Olympics,
I think there you go, man. Right. Good segue there. But I think you're right. I think you're right, most definitely.
So let's move on to a couple other things. So, what was your biggest disappointment on either the men's or women's side?
Well,
what do you want to talk about?
Before we jump into that, I got to give a shout out.
Okay, go ahead.
For women's doubles. Okay, Taylor Townsend. And I'm just so happy for her that she got a Grand Slam title. Yeah. And there's not a young lady out there that deserves that title anymore.
So, Siniakova seems to be the
smart,
common thread.
Yeah, she knows how to pick them, doesn't she? And but Siniakova is going to go down, I think, before her career is over. She would have been one of the outstanding doubles players.
Right.
Women's doubles, and she's also got some mixed doubles titles. But incredible, man. She makes good doubles players better doubles players.
Right.
And that's what you do in doubles. You enhance your partner, and that was great. But so she goes from, I don't have Coco Gauff, but I get Taylor Townsend.
Yeah, okay, not a bad, because Taylor's just as lethal. She got that big forehand, that lefty serve.
Not afraid to come in the net and volley. She serves and volleys, and they complemented each other well. So I'd like to see the two of them play some more tournaments, maybe another Grand Slam title.
Just not in the Olympics.
No, not in the Olympics. Can't do it in the Olympics, but they'll split and they'll come back.
Right.
But anyway, I just had to give a shout out to her. Also, the mixed doubles title, the grand
since you're talking about great
doubles, man,
great doubles players.
With
Zielinski,
Zielinski. And so she won the mixed doubles title, and she also is a phenomenon. I mean, this woman, with her little quirky self, and
she plays like she's almost bunting the ball.
Yeah,
she's not really taking a full swing.
She can take,
and she's got a big racket, so all she has to do is just stick the racket out. And
she can take pace, man. She can take pace. Drive it at her. She'll block angle volleys back. She can put the little drop shots.
And got touched like a mug.
Oh man, she's
drop
amazing.
Drop shots, lobs, everything.
Definitely, hats off to her. That was a remarkable victory for her. I'm not gonna take that back, because she's won too many titles.
Yeah, she does. It's not remarkable.
She is a player. Yeah, straight up. And in doubles, she is one of the best. And she will also, like Siniakova, she'll go down also as one of the finest doubles players to ever play this game.
Yeah, and I agree.
And we like her because she's different, and she makes the game great.
And she smiles a lot.
And she smiles a lot, happy regardless. Yeah. Win or lose, she's always smiling. Mess up a point, she'll look at her opponent as if she's smiling, happy. Yep. And I think she realizes that, guess what? I'm blessed.
Oh,
I get to make a living playing a great game, tennis, and go around the world. Why I got to be mad about it?
Right, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
No.
All right.
She's going to see world sites, so she got nothing to worry about.
All right. So now you get back to the original question you asked for. I did that little segue about what was my biggest disappointment. And I'm going to tell you, the biggest disappointment wasn't a person or a match per se.
Mhm.
It was the fact that we had so many premature people eliminated from this tournament due to injuries, man.
Oh man,
That was the disappointment.
You just stole some of my thunder.
Oh,
You
okay,
just
go ahead, man. I'm
no,
sorry, man.
no,
I'm
not
sorry,
that.
bro.
Because I had that as one of the big
Oh,
surprises.
okay.
But I'll give that back to you. We'll throw it back to you.
It was a disappointment because it hurt. It hurt a lot, man. D. Menard, that was a heartbreaker, man.
That was
a heartbreaker. Match point, and you ripped something in you. What was it, in his hip or something?
It was in his hip.
You can't even move on because he was going into the quarterfinals, wasn't he?
Right. And that's why Novak had that walkover.
Yeah, that's right, walkover
into the quarters.
Yeah.
Or into the semis, I should say. So you're right. So both there were so many.
Madison Keys, man.
Oh gosh, was that a heartbreaker? Man.
I feel,
and she pulled her hamstring.
Yeah, come on, man. When we gonna get Madison needs a break, man.
I know she does.
Needs to get a break in advance. Every time something like this happens, I'm like, man.
I know we pulling for Madison. Just heartbreaking.
Yes,
especially when you've met a player on tour, met her at the City Open, met her down in Key Biscayne. Classy person, nice.
Yep.
But you're right. A bunch of other players, both on the men's and women's side, just to name a few. De Minaur with the hip.
Yeah.
Zverev had a bone bruise.
Yep.
Dimitrov. I didn't know that, but he had something with his leg. I don't even know what it is. Did you see the Herzog match where he was playing against Arthur Fies? And he makes that dive and then pulls his knee, messes up with his knee. That's going to mess up his Olympics potential play. That's just on the men's side. And not even to talk about the withdrawals before.
Yeah.
Well, the withdrawals.
Some women didn't even get
on the men's side, of course, Murray decided to not play. Decidedly so. He couldn't move.
Yeah.
Nadal, he said, nope, I'm going to focus on the Olympics and come back to Paris and play on clay. And Jerry Lehecki, just to name a few, he had a back issue.
Right.
On the women's side, you had Danielle Collins, another hamstring.
Yep.
Keys, hamstring. Raducanu helped end Murray's career with the wrist injury, or at least his career at Wimbledon.
Right.
Kalinskaya, she also had a wrist injury. We talked about from last year, the women's finals winner, Vondrosa. Well, she was not playing well.
Right.
She
in the first round.
Got beaten the first round by her opponent, Bozis Monero. She ended up withdrawing in the second round because of a back issue. And those were just during play. Look at the players that decided not to play because, better judgment. Sabalenka with shoulder. Azarenka, shoulder. Two other players that we would have liked to have seen do real well. Bencic, pregnancy. Who else? One other player. Kvitova. Another former Grand Slam champion. At Wimbledon, all decided. You're right. That was a big disappointment. Not see all these great players.
Now some of them, the injuries are legit. And we don't realize these players. They look so fluid and graceful on the court, and they're doing all. And we don't realize what a strain it is on their bodies.
Absolutely.
What it does to play a full season. Because tennis has no off season.
Right.
There's no break. There's no period where they can rest and let their bodies. Now if you are Djokovic or if you're the top players, then you can take some time off.
Right.
You're good. All right. Because you're making enough money. You can take a month or two off and then train a little bit and then come back. But if you rank and file, if you 150, the 150 on down,
you
really 100 on 101 on down. You got to play.
You got to play. You got to play every week, and you got to play through pain, strains,
you want to stay
aches and pains, boo boos. Get whatever you got. Get Band-Aid. Get sponsorship from Band-Aid because you need it. So
it's tough. It's tough, and so it takes a toll on your body physically, and then we come in this situation. And of course, and I'm not putting it on the course. Courts are slippery and everything. They were.
Right.
I saw more people slipping and buckling. But that's part of it too. It's not all of it though, because a lot of those people came in injured. They came into that tournament injured.
It's a long season.
It's a long season.
It really is.
So But you touched on one other thing too when you talked about Raducanu. That's another when she pulled out of the doubles match with Murray. Because I think she didn't want to hurt her chances because she was still in the singles.
Right.
And I just feel like I think Raducanu is going to regret that decision. Okay, first of all, it was inconsequential because she lost that match anyway. She would have been the last person to play with the true legend, the first
British tennis,
yes, and tennis in general. I mean, he brought the Wimbledon title back to England after what 50 some years or whatever, and he is significant on many levels for the game, and he, I think she should have played that mixed doubles with him. I understand it. Right. I understand that she was, but still, that's one of those moments that I think down the road, she's going to look at that and she said, I should have done that. That would have been history. And, part of it, and she would have been part of that legacy.
That's when the tournament should have said, okay, this is a special circumstance. Let's get another player in for the injured player.
Yeah.
That way Murray gets a chance to play.
They could have put Katie Bolton in there, and that would have been legit.
Oh, that would have been legit. You're right.
Yeah. She's a better doubles player. And she can hit the ball. So, but anyway, and she might have been playing. I'm not sure. Was she playing mixed?
I'm not sure.
She might have been playing with somebody, one of the British players. But yeah, that's one of those things you kind of think. She's young. Maybe she doesn't see it. Right. But I was like, you should have done that. Should have played that because that would have been his last match on the court. Right. Period. At Wimbledon, and you'd have been part of that. History.
Yeah. But.
Yeah,
didn't hindsight is 20.
Hindsight, we'll just only have to think about what could have been.
Right. Well, cool. Well, so my biggest disappointment, I'm just going to talk real brief about both of them. And they happen to be both on the American side. Right. We kind of talked about this before we started. Chris Eubanks.
Oh, man.
He lost.
Big Banks.
Prior to Wimbledon, we kind of knew that he had to do well to maintain his rank.
Yeah, he had a lot of points to protect.
A lot of points to protect, and he loses in the first round. And not only did he lose in the first round, he's got the weapons of a big serve, big forehand, and they did not show up in that match. Now, I didn't see all of it, but I'm just looking at the stats, and he got outserved, 7 aces to 9 to his opponent.
Yeah.
Quentin Hales, no offense to the French fan.
I never knew who he was.
Quentin Hales he's the definition of a journeyman tennis player from France.
Right.
I mean, he qualified.
Yeah. He's ranked 220. When I saw the name, I was like,
right. Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I've seen his name before.
Okay.
220 in the world. No reason for him other than to be practice for Kevin.
Yeah.
I said Kevin. Chris.
Mm-hmm.
He got out hit 17 aces, won 95% of his serve to 64 against Chris. I'm like, what in the world? I mean, and because there's so much pressure, and we kind of talked about this in previous podcasts, Chris now drops to 128 in the world. He dropped 66 places in the rankings. That right there is a big, big, big disappointment.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying if Quentin does play well that he can't lose on grass, but you don't expect that kind of poor results because the match wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And again, he's got all that firepower. That was a big disappointment.
That was tough. That is a disappointment. And I when he lost, he wasn't able to defend his title in Mallorca, and he lost in the first round there. And I was like, ooh, man,
we both said
good,
that.
And can he get himself back? Yes, he can.
I hope so.
Like you said, he's got weapons. And I think he was in new air at that point.
Right.
And that's a lot. There were more demands on his time and everything. And I'm not sure if physically how he's been holding up. I watched him at Mubadala Open. I watched him play against the Australian guy Jordan Thompson. And
Jordan's not a bad athlete.
Jordan manhandled him out there pretty much in that match. And I was just like, and we were sitting watching the match, and I was like, okay. And I just said, okay, well, he's going to get it together.
Right.
It's up and down, it's ebb and flow. Yeah. Tennis is that like that. But yeah, it's just not worked out for him. I'm hoping that he, pulls it together, and I think he will.
Yeah.
He's, like you say, he's got some weapons that are legit. And he's a great guy.
He
man.
really
I
is.
mean,
He
he's a
really
nice
is.
person, and he has worked his butt off to be where he's at, and like to see him continue to have a really good career when it's all over. And he's still, he's not super young, but he's 27, 28?
27.
Okay, so he can still get there.
We would like to see that still got a chance to climb
we
back.
are fans of Chris Eubank, Big Bank.
Like
so
him.
yeah, definitely. Now, you done with the disappointments?
No, I still got one more.
Okay, go for it, brother.
Again, since you stole my thunder on the surprises.
My bad, man. My bad. Go ahead.
So my other disappointment on the women's side was Sloane. Now, she won her first round match, but her play in the second round, I'll just put it like this. She lost to Dina Schneider. Now, Dina Schneider, who just came from playing college ball, she got a weapon. That German has as a lefty.
Gamecock, South Carolina. Yep.
She got a big forehand, but I don't foresee her having a long career, sidebar on her, because she's always injured. She's always got a knee wrapped up or elbow wrapped up. But anyway, but she got beat. It was ridiculous. 1-1.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Former Grand Slam champion who's got easy power being beat. Yeah. Maybe not the best surface for Sloane. Right. I got it. But still, 5 winners to 20.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Out of the total points, 28 to 54, something ain't right.
Yeah, well.
And the people on Twitter and social media, they roasted Sloane.
I know they did.
You should just go ahead and take your money and retire now because this is why people are so indifferent to Sloane.
Look, is Kamal still working with her?
He probably is, but he, from what I've gathered, from what I've seen in the interviews about Kamal and their relationship with Sloane, Sloane drives everything, and I would see that, but sometimes you don't necessarily see that on the court from her performance. I'm not saying that she's not giving her all, but on the outside looking in, it looks like she's not trying, considering the talent that she has. She's still more athletic, can run down more balls than anybody.
Yeah.
She's got the easy power on the forehand, but she tends to sit back and play. I like to say she won her Grand Slam by not making the unforced error. That's not winning it. That's just saying, I'm going to let you make the mistake before I do because of the weight of the moment.
But players get hip to that, and it's, and then you got to do something else. But that was kind of a little disappointment. Who I thought you were going to talk about. I thought you were going to talk about Coco Gauff.
Oh, no.
Her loss to
Emma
to Navarro.
Emma just came out with a better game plan, and unfortunately, I didn't see that match. But,
I did. And my only disappointment, not that she lost, because you're going to lose matches.
Right.
And, Coco lost this match. Like you said, Navarro came out of game plan. She attacked that forehand.
Right.
She didn't allow her to breathe. And I think Coco tried to overcompensate, try to hit her way out, and it just wasn't working.
It wasn't working that day.
Her frustration and the box and everything, she's looking at the box, and I never see Coco looking, the box, tell me, what am I doing? She figures it out. She is a thinker on that court, but she could not solve that puzzle. Yeah. And that was kind of not that she lost. You're going to lose. It was tough to watch that she just couldn't figure out a way. She couldn't come up with a game plan that was going to work. She couldn't, and that's the one thing about her that makes her such a good player. Now, the next time she plays Navarro, she's going to be ready. Navarro, she's going to have a game plan. Yeah, she's going to have a game plan. But hats off to Navarro, man. Right. She had a great tournament.
She did
too. Yeah. Well, now was that it for your disappointment?
That is it for my disappointment.
I just want to say one thing and then I'm done. But I just want everybody to remember this name. Giovanni Mapesti Paracart.
I knew it.
All right.
I knew that was a big surprise.
Yes,
you're right.
Man, let me tell you something. I watched this kid. He is a French player. Right. He's 19 years old, I think, 18, 19. Mm-hmm. And he's about 6'8", huge. Now, all of us, the tennis nerds, we've been seeing him when he won that tournament. He qualified, came up as a qualifier and won a tournament in his hometown in Paris. And I was like, ooh, okay, this kid.
Right.
I thought because he had lost in the qualifying tournament. So I didn't know he was a lucky loser and they had inserted him in the lineup when we had because if I'd have known that, I'd have talked about him earlier. This kid, 6'8", he's got a howitzer for a serve.
Absolutely.
I mean, he serves, his second serve is 125, 130.
Right.
Blasting. And He beat your boy, man. I
Beat
mean,
Quarter.
Yeah.
I know.
And when I saw that, I was just saying, Quarter was fighting though.
Right.
But I said, Quarter, you can't lose serve, bro.
Right.
Don't drop your serve.
And that's all it took.
That's all it took.
Just that one hiccup in the finals.
Yes.
I mean, in the last set.
In that last set, yep. And that was it. And he ended up pulling off a major upset, but making people know who he is.
Right.
And he ran into somebody who didn't drop that serve as often, and it took him. But Francis, they got somebody, also Arthur Fields played well this tournament too.
He did.
French is the French tennis players, they're trying to build and rebuild as their players, as Monfils and Manarino, they're starting to
Gasquet.
Yeah, Richard Gasquet, as they start to fade out.
Right.
They're trying to bring in new young players. And
Right.
he's one to watch. So just remember that name at the U.S. Open. Nobody wants to see this dude. Nobody.
No.
And he's going to be in that tournament. Now.
Right.
He don't have to qualify now.
Right.
I think he made the cut, so he will get in to the tournament. But like I said, if you look and see him on your draw on at U.S. Open on hard court,
right,
you're like,
that's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah,
you're right.
Mm-hmm. But interesting,
cool. So do you have any fun facts about the tournament?
About
Grass, Wimbledon. I know that big brain of yours is always knows something.
That big head I got. Well, yeah. Well, first of all, I think you're getting ready to talk a little bit about.
I got something. I know you
got something. Okay. But we talk about, and you brought up earlier. You talked about how Wimbledon is the oldest tournament,
right.
And as far as, and it's just like you told me when you were saying it, 1875. So that means when they had in 1935,
right, that
tournament is already over 50-some years old. And the traditions that they maintain and hold on to, right. and we look at tennis and how it's changed,
mm-hmm.
and now, but Wimbledon has stayed the same. It's modernized now. It's not the Wimbledon that we used to watch on TV, on NBC.
I mean, they've kept up with the times.
But they've kept up. They've had to. They've had to in order to make that tournament viable for a new audience, for
mm-hmm.
a new viewing audience, for a new. But some of the things people, I remember years ago they were talking about, well, should they let the players wear colorful, add more color? And I said no.
No, I agree with that. I don't. I like that tradition.
I like the tradition
that's
too.
That's why I'm wearing my whites now.
You wore your whites today. I got my ball boys cap on today.
Right.
But we like the tradition.
Right.
At first I thought about it, but then I said, nah, Wimbledon reminds us of the game's past.
Right.
Okay.
But
it also opens up to the future as well. 70, 80, 100 years ago, it was a different game.
Yeah.
Okay. And now to see where that game has come,
mm-hmm.
With the white clothes, with the ivy growing on the walls, with the green, and the purple and green and the uniform. But still, it's that thing that just reminds us of where this game came from.
Where it came from,
the origin,
where it could potentially go.
And where it's potentially going to go.
I like that.
And I like that. And so Wimbledon, hats off to you as a tournament, and keeping those traditions, keeping them live, keeping them going, and we hope they continue. There's no reason to change. If something ain't broke, don't fix it. Wimbledon ain't broke.
Nope, it's not broke. We're still watching it. It's still watching a very popular tournament.
Oh my gosh.
Probably right behind, in America anyway, right behind the U.S. Open.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I would say it's ahead of the U.S. Open.
Probably.
Even here in the States. But it's a different tournament. But I'm just saying that everybody has a feeling, and it's, the other thing too, I just saw it in New York, right in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
They have a little park, right? And what they do every year for the past, I guess, couple years is they have breakfast at Wimbledon in this park. And they have a huge screen television where they televise the match. Now, it's free of charge, but you have to get a ticket for it. And they serve Pims. And you go, people come there dressed up and everything.
Probably.
And I saw the picture. I was like, man, what a cool idea.
That is a cool idea.
That is a cool idea. Maybe we should bring that to Richmond, man. We could
do that. Breakfast.
Widescreen TV down.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, Forest Hill Park or something,
For those of you that don't know,
that's
Forest Hill Park is in Richmond.
Yeah.
So you don't have a fun fact. I got you.
No.
I don't really have a fun fact. There are a couple, like I said, there are a couple of things that are fun facts. Like we just said, oldest tournament, 1877. Some people may know this or not. Rufus the Hawk and Pollux. They release these two hawks usually at the beginning of the day to keep the pigeons away. So you never see birds primarily flying over the courts at Wimbledon because of these two hawks. And actually, it's so funny because Rufus the Hawk been there at least 10 years. Has a Twitter account and an Instagram account and has over 10,000 followers.
I'm sure he does.
That's so cool.
Rufus is getting paid.
They got more followers than we do, so we need to work on that. So
we need to get Rufus in.
I know we need to get Rufus in here.
Rufus, have him fly in here.
I know. But the one fun fact that I found out was this. So if you watched the ESPYs the other day with Serena,
yes.
She was serenaded by Jamie Foxx a couple years ago. Can I be your tennis ball? So in honor of Serena, she flipped the script and returned the favor, but she didn't serenade Jamie Foxx. She serenaded one of her chief rivals by dissing her one-time rival on the ESPYs. Maria Sharapova holds the record for the loudest grunt recorded on court at 101.2 decibels. Now, this is louder than a jet engine. Wow. It's louder than a rock concert. So that's one fun
people
fact.
Some people went deaf on
by listening to a match that has Sharapova. Just in honor of Serena, the ESPYs, and Maria Sharapova, she still could be our tennis ball. She's still Russian, blonde, and very tall. So just remember that.
All right, man.
So
that's funny. I tell you.
But yeah, that I thought when I saw that, I thought that was funny.
Well, when Sharapova won her Wimbledon finals against Serena, I was on my honeymoon.
Right.
I was in Hawaii. And we were watching. But it was like 4:00 in the morning. We're watching it. So. Because of time difference, so we're watching it, and I was just like, no, I know you're not losing to this kid. You're gonna lose to this girl, you know? And Sharapova, but you know what? Serena, she never let her forget that.
Oh, of course not.
And she took it out on her.
And she lost the first two matches that they ever played, and has never lost again. And since in honor of the upcoming historic beatdowns. It's supposed to be a rivalry. Well, a rivalry is not supposed to be this one side.
Yeah, that's right.
20-0 after those first two. And we remember rooting for and what seemed like Serena wanting to do the embarrassing double bagel in the Olympic finals.
Yeah, well.
Man, she was one game away.
Yeah. She never forgot that loss.
Of course.
And I don't think it was anything really Sharapova did, but it was just, I think, the hype that was pushed over on her,
and I think air that Sharapova had.
Like, hey, I've been out here banging. Right. This kid just comes out of nowhere, and you were celebrating her like she's the second coming of. Right. Now,
Sharapova does have 4 slams, so we got to give her a props.
Oh no, she is a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer, and deservedly so.
Right. In fact, she won all 4 slams.
Yep, she won every 4 slam, and so. That in and of itself guarantees her space in the Hall of Fame, and she's done well for herself. She's a businesswoman, very savvy, and
Sharapova,
has done very well in that respect. And so, hey, man, Sharapova ain't got nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
She got beat by Serena Williams, but guess what? She's in good company. A whole lot of women got beat by Serena Williams, so she ain't nothing to be ashamed of, and so Hey, Maria, you going to do your thing. She's mom now, isn't she? No, she's mom.
I don't know.
No, okay. Maybe I might be thinking of somebody else.
That's something we'll have to fact check for our next podcast.
I don't think she's. I don't know why I thought. Maybe I got her confused. Maybe I have confused with somebody else.
Well, that's we'll end it on that. So in upcoming podcasts, we'll talk more about tennis in the summertime.
Yeah,
we'll preview the U.S. Open and many more exciting racket sport topics. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. And come back and hear us talk more about our favorite sport. And like we always say, James, you got anything to say?
Oh, on leaving, just hey, look, we'll talk more about some local tennis things going on here too. So people in the greater Richmond area,
yes, please,
we coming back to you.
We're coming back to you.
But in the
Absolutely.
meantime,
go hit a tennis ball.